Welcome back folks, and welcome to a new Cyberpunk 2077 modding video. So today I'm going to show you how to achieve the same body cam effect and look like you've probably seen it in various gameplay videos for the past 7 to 10 days. This has been very popular lately, this style of actually playing throughout Cyberpunk 2077, and I know a lot of people were asking how this is made. So today, well, we're gonna be going through everything you need to know and how to install this for free. Keep in mind, that's going to be the edge of this video. We are going to have this completely free, so you won't be buying any mods whatsoever. Before we begin, do keep in mind that I already uploaded a full Cyberpunk 2077 modding guide video where I go through all of the mods I've been using so far and how to put them so every other mod we install is going to work. But in this video, we're gonna be going from scratch, but do keep in mind that I won't be covering all of these framework mods in details because I already done that in my previous video. Also, because we will have to unpack a lot of these mods, if you don't have it already, be sure to install 7-zip, because this is going to allow you to unpack all of these mods so we can put them in. But of course, Windows 11 and I think even Windows 10 in some instances already has that installed, so you don't have to worry about it, but I'm going to leave all of the links below. Now the first thing on our list is going to be Reshade, because well, we are going to need Reshade to actually achieve this look. Now I'm going to leave you a correct link to the Reshade website so you can just check it out down below, and the process of getting this is going to be very simple. We're going to click download and we're going to click download Reshade 6.1, or well, the version which is live at, when you're watching this video. Now here on desktop I have the main directory of Cyberpunk 2077. Of course you're going to find it in the corresponding folder which you have installed it on. If you have it through GOG, you're going to check it through either the default position of the GOG or Steam install, or if you placed it somewhere else, well, just navigate to your main Cyberpunk 2077 folder. You'll know because you're going to see archive, bin, engine. Maybe you're not going to see the mods folder, but you can create one so you can start pushing out those mods, which is actually a point of my previous video. So here we have the Reshade setup 6.1, which you're going to install. So we're going to double click it, and here it's going to give us a lot of games we already have on our desktop. Now do keep in mind, there might be a chance that you're going to see Cyberpunk 2077 on this list, but if you don't see it, like I don't see it, we're going to navigate to it. So we're going to click browse here, and because it already found it for me, but we're going to go to our main Cyberpunk 2077 directory folder. We're going to go click bin, we're going to click x64, and we're going to navigate to the Cyberpunk 2077 application file right here, which we're just going to double click. And because we have it down here, we're going to click next. Now once you arrive here, you're going to select the rendering API Cyberpunk 2077 uses. You can select the default, which is going to be Microsoft DirectX 10, 11 or 12. I do believe you can also go for Vulkan, but I'm not going to be using it. Most people are going to be going for Microsoft DirectX 10, 11 or 12. So we're going to click here by selecting it. Now after that, you're going to get this. Well, there is going to be a lot of different things you can download from here. You can basically go and read what every single one of this does, but we're going to only select the following. So standard effects and Sweet FX are going to be selected by default. If not, select Sweet FX by CJ. After that, we're going to click on Otis FX. So just select here. We're going to navigate down until we find Quint by Marty McFly. So we're going to also select this. And the last on the list is going to be Ashtray FX by Blue Sky Defender, so we're also going to select this. Now after you have these selected, like this, we're going to click next. And it's going to install, and that's going to be it. You have Reshade installed. The first mod we're going to install is going to be CyberEngine Tweaks. If you already know what it is, good. If not, check out my previous video where I talked more about it. But if you go to CyberEngine Tweaks, we're going to go click Manual, and we're going to click Slow Download. Now after we have the file, it's going to look like this. It's going to be a zipped file. We're going to double click it and open it. Here it's going to be bin file. So this bin file is going to correspond with the bin file over here. So we're just going to drag and drop and it's going to be there. So just do that. After that, we're gonna be installing the first-person camera, custom weapons, vehicles, on-foot, views, and FOV. So, we're going to click manual, and it's going to tell us we need CyberEngine tweaks, which we already have. So now, we're going to go here and slow download again. So let's do it that way. Now again, it's going to go into download, so what we're going to do is we're gonna double click it, and of course, as always, it has the bin file, so the only thing we're going to do is drag and drop it, like here, into the main Cyberpunk directory, and that's it. After that, we're going to install Immersive First Person, which is basically going to allow us to see full body of V as we are in first person, so it gives actually more immersion that way. As always, we're going to go manual. It needs CyberEngine tweaks, which we already have, so we're going to go download and then slow download. We're going to unzip it, so either, do it yourself, or just like this on Windows 11, they have it, already natively on the system, so you can just double click it. And again, for the third time, we have the bin file, so only thing again is drag and drop into the main Cyberpunk directory. Now after that, we're gonna be downloading EdgeLut Reshade Paywall Be Gone. Yes, exactly. So here we're gonna go click manual. And we have a few options here. Personally, I would go with the, main one. I mean, you can go for a more vibrant one, but if you really want my look from my gameplay, well, go for the first one. So once we have it, we're gonna double click it, or well, unzip it, and we're going to go and select this archive folder and drag and drop it again into the main Cyberpunk folder, so the process between all of these mods are going to be the same. Next up, we're going to download Red4ext, we're going to click manual, and we're going to go slow download like always. You unzip it, and you take bin and Red4ext, and we're simply going to drag and drop this thing into the main Cyberpunk directory like always. After that, we're going to download ArchiveXL, we're going to click manual, it needs Red4ext, which we have already installed, so we're just going to proceed with the download. And once we are in the downloads, we're going to again unzip it, take it here, and just simply drag and drop into the main directory again. After that, we're gonna be downloading input loader, so as always, we're gonna click manual, it needs Red4ext, which we already have. Slow download, and we wait it out. And as always, with every single one of these mods, input loader, Red4ext, drag and drop. Now we're going to install Redscript, so we're gonna click manual, as always, and here, open it up. Engine and R6, it corresponds to engine and R6 here in the main directory, so we're just going to copy it here. And after that, we're gonna be installing mod settings because we have to adjust these things in mod settings anyway, so we're gonna be going for the manual one. It needs ArchiveXL, Red4ext, Redscript. We have all of these mods installed. Slow download, and we wait it out. We open it up, and we select here and just drag and drop into the main directory. After that, we're gonna be installing Limited Hood. Now, the reason why we have mod settings is because we can go into mod settings and basically go and, play around with all of these settings like we, could, but without mod settings, we wouldn't be able to. So we're gonna go manual. It needs all of these files, or well, mods, which we already installed, so we're just gonna go download, and then slow download. We open this up, and we simply drag and drop. After that, we're gonna be downloading native settings UI as well. It's going to be the same process like every single time. We take native settings UI and we copy the bin file right here. Now also, we're gonna be installing simple flashlight mod because, well, we need flashlight for those cool effects like you've seen in the gameplay and kind of fits overall with the aesthetics. So we're gonna go manual. It's going to ask us for CyberEngine tweaks and native settings UI, which we already have, so we're just going to click download and same process. Of course, we double click this. We're gonna have archive and bin. We double select this, or well, just select this, and we take it into the main Cyberpunk directory again. Now at this point, we're getting close to the end of setting these mods up, so don't worry, hold out with me, we are almost done. So now we're gonna be downloading Nova Loot. So when it comes to this, well, this is kind of a personal choice depending on what you want more. So for example, in the gameplay you were seeing at the beginning of this video, I am using Supernova version of this loot. The reason for it is that the colors are a bit more vibrant than, for example, if you go with pure or just the standard Nova loot, because those Nova loots are going to give you more photorealism effect, which is going to drop down the vibrance a lot, and it's going to increase that effect, you know, which you would have in real life, which is not something I prefer personally in a game like Cyberpunk. So I want to give it a bit more zazz, so I'm using the supernova effect, which is going to up that a lot. So I am going to download the supernova version here, so we're going to download it. The process is going to be the same as with everything else. It doesn't matter that this is a LUT. When you download it, we're going to, you know, unzip it, and here we have archive. Simply drag and drop into the main folder. Now keep in mind that with Supernova we also need basically an env. This is going to be an optional file which you would kinda have to download. So under optional files we can see there's two. The first one is going to be pure LUT and Supernova, and this is for path tracing. So if you're using path tracing in your gameplay or ray tracing in general, this is going to be the version you want. In case you're not using ray tracing or path tracing, you're gonna be getting the lower one here, because it says this lowers minimum exposure value so shadows are not as dark, because, well, these shadows can be especially dark if you're not using full path tracing and everything, so it actually looks like it's intended. So we're gonna be downloading the path tracing version which I'm using. But again, keep in mind, if you're not using path tracing or ray tracing, just download the one below it. The process is going to be the same. As always, if we have Nova LUT here, so Pure 2.0 env, we're going to select it and we're going to push this into the main folder like this. So now that we have all of those files, we're gonna be downloading finally NovaCam. We're gonna go click manual, and again you have to decide which one do you want. I'm going to go with the live HUD one, so I have the numbers, which, you know, it's cool. We're gonna go manual, and as you can see, every single one of these things we now have, so we can actually download it. So we're gonna go with the same process, and we're going to wait for it to download. So once we have the NovaCam here, we're going to open it up, unzip it, and we're going to copy the bin file into the main Cyberpunk directory, and now we can go into a game to set everything up. So let's go. So the first time you enter Cyberpunk 2077 with mods, and if you never use them, the prompt which is going to be given to you by CyberEngine Tweaks is going to be a little box in the middle which is going to tell you or ask you which button do you want to bind, so you can open up basically this, you know, CyberEngine Tweaks. So the button which I recommend using is the button below the escape button, the tilde button, so you can see it on the screen right now which one this is. But besides that, also on the top we can see Reshade 601. Reshade is now installed successfully. Press home to start the tutorial. So we're going to click the home button on your keyboard. And here we can go through the tutorial, which I do recommend you read it through. So for example, these presets here, which is going to be something I'm going to talk about, and how we achieve this look in general. So now, here we have some of the options we can choose. Keep in mind that you can play around with Reshade on your own and see what fits and what not. You know, you can basically change how coloration is going to look, which other effects are going to be added, so it's going to drain your FPS a little bit, but it really depends with what you're playing with. If you're playing with all of this, well, your frame rate is going to go down, obviously. So what we want is we want to select a preset that we downloaded for that cam effect. So we're going to click here on the top. It's going to list us a lot of things, but what we want is this one, NovaCam main.ini. So what we're going to do is we're going to simply click it, and we're going to click here, select. So now that we have clicked NovaCam main, it's going to basically do that change for us. If you want to, you know, turn this off, you basically go and just unselect this, and we're going to select this again, and it's going to return that. You can of course you know, bind this to various other things, for example, so it's easier for you to change all of those settings. And of course right here we also have cinematic depth of field, which is a bit optional, which we're going to talk about. So let's now enter into the game. So now that we are in the game, you can see how it kind of looks. We can also put cinematic depth of field, and this is going to give us this effect. So for example, when we take out the weapon, it's going to make our weapon a bit blurry. Now I personally don't like this because it makes no sense for me, you know, it's kind of cinematic, but whatever. We can just turn this off like this, and we're going to have a much clearer image of our screen. Also, one of the things you can play around with is, for example, add CA, which is the chromatic aberration. This is something that cameras usually kind of produce, and it might give you some nice effects. So if we go and scroll down here, for example, you can see various things we can play around with to really like go through it. But we're going to click on chromatic aberration here, and we have strength. So what we can do is lower the strength of chromatic aberration so it doesn't look that annoying, because if we push it too far, we're going to get that effect fully. So I'm just going to drop it down a little bit more. Of course, again, this is a very personal thing and personal preference that people have. So once we play, for example, we can see how this looks. It absolutely looks amazing, especially with this LUT, with, you know, the body cam effect, with these numbers going around, with, you know, your position on the screen. And I mean, you know, depending on, you know, how you want to play this game, if you want to go that way, you can. Especially if you're going up the stairs, you can definitely see some distortion happening on the screen itself if we get close to the actual like box and whatever. Now in the settings you can of course change this, you know, the fisheye effect in particular. You can change how it looks, like various things, like if you want to make it more stand out or not, you can play around with all of these settings. But I prefer the look how it looks here, especially with the extended FOV that I've showed you before. So yeah, especially if you look at the fog and everything, like this looks absolutely nice when we start fighting those enemies. Now I'm also going to show you how to bind flashlight and how to bind the FOV. Now first off, we're going to forget about AMM. We're just going to focus on console. So we're gonna go into binding, so click here, and here we have hotkeys for various other stuff. So for the overlay key, I selected this tilde, as you see. For the flashlight, you basically click here and you select whatever. I'm going to click 9, you know, it is what it is. And we're going to scroll down until we find first person camera. So here you can, you know, add various bindings towards different stuff. And here we're going to be changing the FOV. So for FOV plus, I selected up arrow, and for FOV minus, I selected down arrow, because honestly, I don't use them on, you know, my keyboard for the game itself. So we're gonna go save, and now when we have a weapon, keep in mind that this mod is going to set FOV in various things. So without the weapon, FOV is going to be one thing. We can, of course, you can see extend it, we can see by the building, or lower it up, or make it a bit better. So you change it. And if we pull out a weapon, you can see that the FOV is going to change. Because with this mod, every single weapon, you have to set the FOV manually. So you can really pick and choose which weapon is going to have which FOV. This is also going to be the same for bikes. Once you go and sit on a bike, and one of the things with the immersive first person camera is you can see your full body. Isn't this cool? So if we sit on a bike like here, we can go and basically hold that, of course, hold this and hold the button to extend that FOV. You can see it's happening right in front of your eyes. And it's also going to be different for each vehicle, whatever you sit in. So you can really mix and match how you want it, but this is gonna be good. So once we go into Reshade, we select all of this, boom, boom, boom. Okay, whatever, cinematic, yeah, chromatic aberration, and here we have that effect. Very cool, very nice, and a lot of it is pretty much personal preference depending on which LUT and which overall feeling and atmosphere you want for the game. And this is everything for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button for more, and also check us out on Twitter and Discord. Also do keep in mind that you can go and endorse every single one of these mod creators, and definitely do it, because it's amazing what the modding community has been doing so far, especially ever since the release of the game. Also, huge thanks to my Patreon supporters, and I will see you very soon with a new video. Goodbye.